Hello everyone. Today I'm here to tell you that this is the final episode of my Villain Defeat series for season 1. Now, keep in mind I should mention that this will be a two-part episode, so this will be episode 15. The final episode will be episode 16. But the amount of episodes that we had for episode. Sorry about that. What I was trying to say is that the amount of episodes that will be for each season are 14 episodes. Technically 16 if you count these wrap up if you count these final episodes for each season. But like I said, pretty much in this video and the next part of it, I'll be telling you guys my favorite villains from each episode. So let's get started with that. So we'll start off with the first episode, of course. The first episode being SML Villain Defeats 1. And SML Villain Defeats 1 was actually my first Villain Defeats video in a long time, since I remember when I first made Villain Defeats, it was like the year before that, or I forgot when. I'm pretty sure it might have been 2018, but I think it might have been 2019. I don't know. All I remember is that I basically got into making Villain Defeats videos since I saw a lot of other people doing them, and I thought it was interesting. Anyways, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. My favorite villain or villains from each episode, from the first episode, has to go to either Does Bad Things Guy or Nancy, since I don't really have a favorite villain from that episode. So I can't really say. So if I had to pick a villain or villains, I'd say like those two. Since, like I said, also one thing I should mention is that I'll be saying, sorry about that. What I was trying to say is that I'll be telling you guys the first 7 episodes in this video about my favorite villain from the first 7 episodes, and the other 7 episodes will be in part 2 that I'll say about. Since that's why I'm gonna make this a 2-part episode, so I can tell you guys the first 7 episodes in this video and the second episodes in the other video. So once again, I can't really think of a favorite villain or villains from episode 1. But if I had to pick one or two, if I had to pick a few, I'd say Does Bad Things Guy and Nancy, since for one, I just can't really think of them. I can't really think of a favorite, so I'll just pick those two for now. Anyways, now for episode 2 of my Villain Defeat series was Thomas and Friends Villain Defeats 1. So if I had to pick a favorite villain from there, it would have to be Thomas.exe, Smudger, Duncan, and Smudger again. The first Thomas.exe basically came from KLPP's video, which I forgot what his name was. I forgot what his new name is, but yeah. And then Smudger, the first Smudger I talked about, or I just mentioned, came from Mr. Bluebell Engine's video, which was a Narrow Gauge Engine's Halloween. And the other two characters, Duncan and Smudger again, came from The Humbugs, which is basically my film. And I just basically, like I said, overall, I just like the characters Duncan and Smudger. I almost said love, but yeah. Well, I love them as characters. That's all I can say. And same with Thomas.exe. He's a good character that I like to voice. I mainly chose those guys since I like to voice them on my channel. And anyways, moving on. The third episode of my Villain Defeat series was SML Villain Defeats 2. Now for SML Villain Defeats 2, the characters I would have to choose for my favorites have got to be Evil Jr., Joseph, and Cody. And I just basically would have to go for them, since honestly I honestly think it's a pretty interesting thing for those guys. So I don't know. I'm just like explaining it the best I can, since I don't know honestly. Anyways, moving on. Next is the 4th episode of my Villain Defeat series. The 4th episode of my Villain Defeat series is Random Villain Defeats, and the villains I choose for that one as my favorites are Thanos, Dr. Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik, and Pennywise. And I'll also add some bonus ones, or also, actually, no, I wouldn't say these are bonuses. The other characters I actually have a total of 6 favorite characters from my Random Villain Defeats video. They are Thanos, Dr. Robotnik, who else did I say? Pennywise, Pennywise, and Fleagle Fleagle, a Drooper, and I forgot what their name was. Fleagle, Drooper, and Bingo. There we go. And yeah, Nixon. Anyways, moving on. The 5th episode of my Villain Defeat series is as Thomas and Friends Villain Defeats 2. And now my favorite villains from that episode has to go to Montague. And yeah, Nixon. Montague, which is basically Montague is basically from Tobias and the Half Pariah, which actually, honestly, I would have to say he's my only favorite villain from that episode. So yeah. Anyways, next up is the 6th Villain Defeats video that I made, which was Random Villain Defeats 2. And my favorite villains from that one would have to be Nightmare Train, Chucky, and I'm pretty sure, and also Michael Myers. And yeah, so yeah. Also, one more I would have to say is Chip Whistler. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. Now for the final episode I'll talk about in this video is Random Villain Defeats 3. This was actually my return to Villain Defeats video. That was actually my return to making Villain Defeats video, which was Random Villain Defeats 3. Now my favorite villains from Random Villain Defeats 3 has to go to a few people. The first character, I'm pretty sure the only character I'll talk about in this video that has to go to my favorite for Random Villain Defeats 3 has to go to Morag, since I can't really think of any other characters. But yeah, so Morag is my favorite villain from Random Villain Defeats 3. Anyways, that's gonna wrap up for this part. Since I made a total of 14 episodes, the other villains I'll talk about will be in part 2. Part 2, I should mention, will come out on Tuesday, since I would have made it tomorrow, but I already have my videos planned for tomorrow. Unless I change some things around, then it will come out tomorrow. But for now, it's planned for Tuesday. So yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching, and bye everyone. Bye.